say we, everybody who is involved in this case, and there are many people who have spent a lot of time and really devoted themselves to it, feel that these trials smack of the witch trials of Salem that happened at the very end of the 20th century. And as I often say, it's our case, and until we fix it, it's our disgrace. Okay. And we won't quit until we beat 3 to 3, and only that will be the end. Clever way to wrap up, huh? This is a very complex case. A lot of law has resulted from it. One of the things is that lawyers for Jesse Kelly challenged that he could be questioned that long and that hard, being a minor without a parent present. And the Supreme Court ruled, and this is something we've got to watch out for in our state, that that's okay. That's just fine. In fact, they've ruled that if a minor is being questioned by police and a parent is out there saying, let me in, I want to be with my kid while you're questioning him, doesn't have to let him in. Because the minor has to trigger the action to let the adult in. The minor has to say, I want my parent, or I want a lawyer. Tell your kids. That's how it is here. So that's what, and that was it was Jesse's case that was precedent for that. So lots of other ins and outs, and now I'd like to hear from you. What are your interests or concerns? Yeah.
Was there not any try to get a change of venue in that case? You got this little bitty town, West Memphis, and these 3 kids and all of this. Why wasn't that change?
They were tried in West Memphis. There was a change of venue granted. The first trial was in Paragould, I think. Corning, thank you, Corning. And the second trial was in Jonesboro. So it stayed in the district, but the judicial district. But you know, you wonder if those trials had been held in Little Rock, would they have made a difference? Would that have made a difference?
What has your communication been with the victims' families?
Well, the family of Michael Moore has never been willing to talk to me at all. And recently, I saw that Michael's father, they're divorced now, but his father posted a kind of angry snippet of, not much of a thing, but angry at me. For believing, because he still maintains that he believes that the 3 in prison are the ones who killed him. And at least that's the last I heard. I've talked to John Mark Byers, the stepfather of Christopher Byers, and I talked to him in prison. He had an interesting arrest. After these murders, he got into a lot of different kinds of trouble, and was kind of miraculously skating right out of all of it. But then finally one day, a state policeman was writing somebody a ticket by the side of the road, and his private cell phone rang, and he answered it, and it was John Mark Byers offering to do that drug deal that they talked about. And the police officer said, well, yeah, remind me how to get to your house. And so that ended up getting him sent to prison. And I talked to him while he was in prison there for a long time, and he was at that point just adamant about these guys. And if you watch the HBO film, he's very theatrical in his denunciations, damning of the three accused. Since then, he's come around, and now that the evidence seems to be pointing to Terry Hobbs, he's all about it's Terry Hobbs, and he was wrong.
Since you look at the case so much, have you ever determined any kind of motivation for Hobbs? I mean, if the DNA evidence connects him to the crime, is there anything else that supports that? Is there any kind of insurance or anything?
No, I've never heard anything about any monetary connection. He did have a charge against him for attacking a woman in her house. She stepped out of the shower once in Hot Springs many years ago, and he didn't physically harm her. He just grabbed her and then left. But and then his ex-wife, Pam Hobbs, has made an interesting allegation. She says that when she split up from him, Terry Hobbs, she went through his stuff there in the house, and he had a box of things that he had just put little special things in, I guess. And in that, she found a pocket knife that her father had given to Stevie, which she said Stevie always carried with him, and that she had believed all this time he had had with him in his pocket when he died. And so, you know, I don't know. That's a very acrimonious situation there, so you don't know about it. But that's all I've ever heard of in any direction there. Somebody over here? Yes.
In Paradise Lost and in the second one, a lot of the evidence points to John Mark Byers. When did it start to shift? And when did, do you know?
Because
Because it said that John Mark Byers also like beat his stepkid.
Pardon me?
Didn't he attack his stepkid at some
He
point?
whipped him the day that he went.
Yes, he had acknowledged. He told police even before the bodies were found, when you find these bodies, when you find them, it was how he put it, I think, his bottom's going to be all red because I whipped him with a belt just before they vanished, and he said he'd done that because Christopher had disobeyed, and he was very dramatic in those films and so forth, and a lot of people, myself included, felt and to a certain extent still feel that there was great reason to look very closely at him. But then this DNA information has seriously shifted the focus. There was another very interesting thing that happened regarding John Mark Byers, the other stepfather, though. He had given, when the film crew was down filming the trials, he had given them one of the photographers a pocket knife, and in the pocket inside when they got back to New York, the guy who had been reluctant to take it, but Byers really kind of pushed it on him. He opened it up and found what he believed was blood and a red thread in the fold of the knife. And remember, this was when the prevailing belief was, and it's still the state's contention, that that Christopher Byers was castrated. When the police, the HBO crew sent the knife back to West Memphis police, who didn't seem inclined to do anything about it until one of the lawyers demanded it and wanted to have the state police question Byers about this. The judge would not allow the state police to question him, but got the local detectives to interview Byers, who we also know, and Judge